Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, and former state senator Republican Brett Lindstrom is officially running for Congress in Nebraska's 2nd District. Lindstrom said his quote pragmatic approach and record will speak for itself, as he is the second Republican to officially announce a campaign for the open U.S. House seat. So former Omaha State Senator Brett Lindstrom has officially entered the race to be the Republican nominee to defend the Republican-held 2nd Congressional District. I'm running as a common-sense conservative to protect retirees and fight for working families, focus on the future and national security, Lindstrom said. Lindstrom, who was 44 years old on Monday, became the second Republican to officially join the race. He was long rumored to be one of the GOP candidates to jump in the Republican primary if Representative Don Bacon chose to not run again in 2026. Omaha City Council Vice President Brinker Harding announced her bid last week. Bacon's 2024 GOP primary challenger Dan Frey is also reportedly mulling a bid. Lindstrom emphasized that he doesn't really get caught up in who's in the race, but looks forward to people getting to know him and the other candidates and then deciding the best candidate to represent them. Lindstrom said he is a, quote, proven candidate with a proven record of getting things done. The former state lawmaker who represented Northwest Omaha in the Nebraska Capitol from 2015 to 2023 said he has a track record of a pragmatic and common sense approach. Lindstrom, who is known for pushing bills that reduce state income taxes, he also voted to repeal the death penalty in the state, which was reinstated through a ballot measure in 2016. Lindstrom pointed to his role in passing legislation that phased out taxes on Social Security income. He said he wants to bring that to the Hill. President Donald Trump's recently passed Big Beautiful Bill does not provide new temporary tax deductions for Social Security, but it doesn't eliminate the tax on the federal program. Lindstrom, a financial advisor, said that he's been able to meet the challenges the district faced during his time as a state senator, and is looking to continue to do that. He said he wants to bring a different kind of leadership to Washington, an approach focused on real results, not partisan fights, because that's what Nebraska deserves. He was one of the Republican lawmakers in the officially nonpartisan State House to survive the 2018 blue wave. This would be Lindstrom's 5th campaign for elected office. He unsuccessfully ran to be the Republican nominee for governor in 2022. Most of his support during that bid came from the city of Omaha. The 2nd Congressional District is the state's most politically diverse and competitive district and could prove one of the most expensive races in Congress for the 2026 midterms. And now it gets into who's in the race, and I'm going to cover that more in this part of the video. So, for this race here, this is very interesting because the 2nd District, which covers parts of the Omaha metropolitan area, including all of Douglas County, and is home to the city of Omaha, Saunders County, and parts of western Sarpy County, including Gretna and Springfield. The incumbent Republican, Don Bacon, has managed to win re-election several times now in this very close political district, which according to the Cook PVI is listed at Democrat +3. So its recent election history is actually a lean Democratic district. But the Republican Brett Lindstrom is now running to try and keep this race in Republican hands. And just that quick synopsis of him, it sounds like Lindstrom is more in the mold of Don Bacon, a Republican that cares more about issues and policies and not someone that is, say, 100% pro-President Trump or pro the Washington battles and such, where Don Bacon has been outspoken against the president and willingness to do what he believes is right for the district. Brett Lindstrom seems to be in a similar mold to that as Don Bacon would. And for a district like the 2nd District, where Don Bacon has continued to win very narrow elections, having a Republican like Brett Lindstrom like that in this district likely would give the Republicans a better chance in the general election if he would be able to win the primary. However, that's an if, because Brinker Harding, an Omaha City Councilor, is also declared in this race. He also has some notable endorsements, including from U.S. Senator Deb Fischer, U.S. Representative Hal Daub of the 2nd District from 1981 to 1989, the former governor of Nebraska, Dave Heineman, and Kathleen Koth, a state senator from the 31st District. However, Lindstrom does have some endorsements from 3 state senators, Christy Armendariz, Tom Brewer, and Rita Sanders. How this plays out, we'll have to wait and see. It also depends if Dan Frey, the former member of the Nebraska Republican Party and candidate for the district in 2024 and 2014, ultimately ends up entering this race or not. But I would argue that Brett Lindstrom would probably do a better job at competing in this district at the general election side of things. On the Democratic side, it's a wide open primary, but the Democrats are salivating out the opportunity at flipping this district. 4 Democrats are currently running: Evangelos Ariakis, an attorney and perennial candidate; John Kavanaugh, a state senator from the 9th District, and son of former U.S. Representative John J. Kavanaugh III; Mark Johnston, ophthalmologist, and Denise Powell, candidate training group co-founder. Crystal Rhodes, a Douglas County District Court clerk and former Nebraska Public Service Commissioner, is also publicly expressing interest in this race. Two other Democrats that are mentioned as potential candidates are Keishla Askins, a physician's assistant, and Tony Veland, former Denver Broncos football player. So Veland may have some name recognition in this race, as well as John Kavanaugh, as the son of a former U.S. representative. Two Democrats have officially declined running, including the nominee for the Democrats in 2022 and 2024, Tony Vargas, who has officially endorsed Denise Powell. Kavanaugh has the endorsement of two former U.S. senators from Nebraska, Bob Kerrey, from U.S. Senator from Nebraska from 1989 to 2001, and Ben Nelson, U.S. Senator from Nebraska from 2001 to 2013, as well as 8 other state senators. Whereas Denise Powell has the endorsement of Dunixi Goreca, Margot Juarez, and Tony Vargas, as well as a PAC called Poder PAC as well. On the independent side of things, this gives the Democrats a lot more clarity. Megan Hunt, a state senator, is ruled out a bid, as has Dan Osborne, the independent nominee for Senate in 2024, who the Democrats did not run a candidate against in 2024 in the Senate race, hoping to try and help his chances at defeating the Republican. He came very close to doing so. He's running for Senate again in 2026. Now the Democrats have a strong pickup opportunity here in the 2nd District. Cook Political Report and Sabra Crystal Ball both have this race listed as lean Democratic. Inside Elections has it listed as a toss-up. As I mentioned, this district is currently D+3 on the Cook PVI index. So this is very, very big in this district. Now I'm just going to pull up here the House results for Nebraska's 2nd District, which in 2024 was very, very, very close. So this 2nd District ended up voting for Don Bacon over Tony Vargas 50.9% to 49.1%. The largest county in this district by far is Douglas County. This is where the city of Omaha is. Vargas won here 52% to 48% over Bacon. Roughly a 10,000 vote net win for Vargas over Bacon in this area. But the other two counties, Sarpy and Saunders, despite not being as large as Douglas, they are way more Republican. So, for instance, Sarpy, which is the second largest of the two, was 66.34%. And despite the population vote size not being anywhere near as big as Douglas, the margin of victory for Bacon at plus 31 netted him about 9,000 votes. And then Saunders, which is about 16,000 votes less than that, its margin of victory being 52%, netted Bacon another 7,000 votes. So when you add those up, it's about 16,000 compared to Douglas County's Vargas's 10,000. It was a roughly 6,000 vote win district-wide for Bacon over Vargas in this area. And if you're a Democrat looking to flip this race, that's what you have to watch for. For one, it wouldn't hurt if you can improve on the margins that Bacon got in Saunders and in Sarpy. Say, for instance, cutting that 31-point victory down to like 25 points and that 52-point victory down to 40 points, that could actually go a very long way for the Democrats in trying to cut down the margin of victory. Instead of maybe 6,000 votes, maybe that's cut down to 3,000 or 2,500. Because then, if the Republican nominee does not do as well as Don Bacon did in Douglas County, where Tony Vargas won 52-48 by roughly 4%, if the Democrat nominee in 2026 can win it by 7 or 8%, then an extra few thousand votes there, plus a few extra thousand votes in Saunders and Sarpy, leads to a very close victory. Now, it should be worth noting here, this is not really impossible for the Democrats. Kamala Harris just won this district of the presidential race by 4.7% against Donald Trump. So it went lean Democratic at the presidential level, but at the House level for Don Bacon, it ended up going as lean Republican. Douglas specifically voted for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump by 10.1%. So for this congressional district, it's pretty simple here. You want to try, if you're a Democrat, you want to try and match the margins in Douglas County that Kamala Harris got, where she won by 10 points. Tony Vargas only won here by 4. It's likely going to be somewhere between that 4-point margin and Harris's 10-point margin for 2026, depending on which Republican wins the primary and how the Democrats are performing in the national congressional vote and how President Trump and his administration is viewed come November of 2026. But it's likely going to be between Democrat +4 and Democrat +10. The question is it closer to the +4 side or the +10 side? If Douglas County is going 8 points or more for the Democrats, it's more likely than not the Democrats have enough votes to win back this district. This is what Bacon was able to do in 2024. I'm now going to pull up Nebraska for 2022, where this election wasn't really all too different from what it ended up being in 2024. Ended up with Bacon winning 51.3 to Vargas's 48.7. And again, in this one, Douglas County was even more red. It was 51 to 49 for Vargas over Bacon, only roughly 5,000 votes separating Vargas and Bacon in this one. However, it was still only about a 6,000 vote win district-wide for Bacon, as with less voter turnout. In this one, Douglas had 191,000 votes. Sarpy only had 18,000 and a half or so. Saunders only had about 9,000 and a half. So the midterm election vote numbers will probably look more like this one from 2022 than from 2024. But that could also be a good thing for the Democrats, as if they can boost the margins in Douglas County up to that Harris number of Democrat plus 10, that could give the Democrats a much stronger chance at winning this district. I also want to talk about the overall importance of this district, because maybe thinking, well, does one House district really matter? And yes, it absolutely does. Right now, with this district as lean Democrat, which is the consensus ranking for 270towin.com, this has Democrats at 206, Republicans 208, with 21 House seats up for grabs. And if you're unfamiliar, the current House party composition right now, Republicans have 220, Democrats have 215. You need 218 House seats to win the majority in the U.S. House. Now, giving the 2nd District of Nebraska to the Democrats, Republicans have 219, Democrats 216. The Democrats to win back the House in 2026 only need to flip 3 House seats, and winning Nebraska 2nd automatically nets them 1, meaning the Democrats only need 2 more flips to take back House control. So the Democrats can win as many House seats as they can in 2026, but they only technically need to flip 3. And Nebraska 2nd is looking like it's going to be a Democratic flip, unless something really changes in the polling data from now till November of 2026. And you may not even have to go that far to see it. Iowa's 1st District, where Marinette Miller Meeks was very close in 2024. That one could flip blue. And in a prior video, I talked about Zach Nunn, the Republican in Iowa, potentially running for governor. If he leaves this race vacant and the Democrats have a very good night, that district may be able to flip blue as well. The Democrats could win back the majority in the U.S. House just by winning 1 district in Nebraska and 2 districts in neighboring Iowa. So just 1 House district can make a very big difference in terms of which party will control the House after the 2026 elections. But Brett Lindstrom's officially running in Nebraska's 2nd District, but with Don Bacon running, or not running, it is officially listed as lean Democratic. But I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this race and this news. Do you think Brett Lindstrom can win this race? Or do you think the Democrats are finally going to flip this district after a few years of Republican wins by Don Bacon in this district? Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment below with any other thoughts or future video ideas you'd like to see me cover. And again, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in a future video.